I'd like to take a moment to bring myself into the present moment so I can really appreciate this great honor and recognition. And I do that best by taking a deep breath, and I'd like to invite you all to just take a deep breath with me. Thank you. I'm honored and grateful to receive the J.L. Moreno Award. At this age and life stage, I think I'm expected to have accrued a little bit of wisdom, and I'll do my best to offer some. Having a platform such as this is really an honor and I believe a responsibility, so I want to speak consciously and conscientiously. So please excuse the formality of my prepared remarks. The best wisdom I can offer is a very brief reflection on 3 character strengths: gratitude, humility, and compassion, all still aspirational in my role repertoire, but very important in my psychodrama journey. So I begin with gratitude. Sir Isaac Newton famously wrote, "If I have seen farther, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." If I've seen farther in psychodrama at all, it is because of the teachers, mentors, and guides who have come before me. My work as a psychodramatist has also been shaped by my generous colleagues, students, and clients. Each has contributed in countless ways to my personal healing, professional expertise, and spiritual journey. I hope each of you who has journeyed with me in psychodrama knows how much I deeply appreciate you. And if I haven't already directly acknowledged my gratitude, let me offer it now. Today, I'll name only 2 of the psychodrama guides who helped me along in my journey, who in fact introduced me to psychodrama. You may not have heard of them. They are Renee Clay and Doug Warner. Renee was my psychodramatic mother, warm, empathic, kind. My relationship with Renee was the first secure one I had ever had. So foremost, being Renee's student was an immensely healing experience. Doug Warner, on the other hand, was foremost a thinker and a teacher. Doug could take the most complex Moranian concepts and deconstruct them and talk about and teach psychodrama techniques in a way that even a novice could grasp them. So to Doug, I'm eternally grateful for a beginning sense of self-efficacy in psychodrama and a repertoire of action structures I still use today. Preparing for this award, my intention was to receive it with grace and humility. Warming up, I quickly realized my understanding of humility itself was pretty vague, sort of a hazy mashup of positive psychology and the saints and martyrs from my Catholic school. Positive psychology identifies 24 character strengths, of which humility is one, and actually one of the least endorsed ones in the survey. Their definition, very condensed, is modesty, letting one's accomplishments speak for themselves. That offers a start, but to add a little nuance and depth to my understanding of humility, I looked at personality psychology, philosophy, religion, and some spiritual traditions. So I'd like to share just a few of the insights that I got with you. First of all, to set the record straight on a common misconception, humility is not self-deprecation or low self-esteem. Humility involves an accurate perception of one's strengths and limitations. In contrast, self-deprecating people do not accurately perceive their status or accomplishments, and/or they dismiss or belittle them. A second characteristic of humility is a modest self-presentation. So, whoops. The humble strive to be honest, not only in their self-assessment, but also in their self-presentation. They don't puff up in arrogance, and they don't shrink down in self-denigration. A third feature of humility is the characteristic interpersonal stance of focusing on the other more than the self. And this orientation toward the other has been described as a loving attention. So the humble tend to focus more on others' needs than their own, and often choose the path of service as their spiritual practice. The final characteristic of humility I'd like to share today is one that I found in psychology, philosophy, religion, in different ways, and that's the idea that humility is necessarily grounded in something larger and greater than ourselves, that has a hand in what we accomplish or what our status becomes. So the psychological conception of humility holds that each individual's status or accomplishments must be viewed within the construct of luck. Many of us, myself included, have enjoyed privileges we didn't strictly earn on our own merits. We were born into networks and environments that gave us access to critical resources. Getting a leg up in life with good health care, the foundations of reading, writing, and math in school, and enough food to eat is a place to start, even if there are other stresses and strains. This is why Moreno enjoined us to share the sociometric wealth. Accurately and honestly assessing the role of luck in our lives tempers our pride. The idea of luck reminds us we are not entirely responsible for what happens in our lives, including our status and accomplishments. Religious and spiritual traditions also ask practitioners to view personal accomplishments within a larger context. Here, the context is the transpersonal or the transcendent, something larger than oneself that gives purpose and meaning to our lives. So practicing humility requires us to acknowledge the ways that luck, good fortune, karma, or blessing have supported us in our accomplishments, at least as much as our own striving. This larger perspective helps us recognize our proper place in the universe and our human brevity in the grand scheme of human history. So now to the third in the trio of gratitude, humility, and compassion. Compassion means experiencing the suffering of others and being motivated to take action to alleviate it. So it's different from empathy, because compassion always involves the motivation to act on behalf of those in pain or in need. Self-compassion asks us to turn that same kindness that we offer to others toward ourselves. A spiritual practice that has soothed and comforted and uplifted me, especially during challenging times, is called metta, or loving kindness meditation. I could cite the mental health benefits of this meditation, but our last few moments here together, I think, are better spent experiencing it. So I'd like to invite you to join me for just a moment in a loving kindness meditation. And if you would, just close your eyes for a minute or take a soft gaze towards the floor. And I'm going to say 5 sentences, and I invite you to say them to yourselves silently. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May our lives be of service. Thank you, and thank you for this great honor. I'm very moved and grateful. I love psychodrama. I love this community. Thank you.